Welcome on in. Culture Wars here on Morning Kickaround. And our guest today is Jason Collinsworth. He hosts the show I Hate Soccer, taking I'd say a skeptical look at the inner workings of the youth soccer landscape here in the United States. Welcome on to the show, and thank you for joining us here on Morning Kickaround, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate you coming on the show, Jason. I mean, obviously we're digging deep into what American soccer is all about. If we're talking about, going to the beginnings of it for players, so give us a thumbnail sketch on what you want to bring to the fore. What conversations you want to start around that part of the game.
So I started this podcast because I am a trainer or a supplemental trainer in Buffalo, New York, and I had a lot of my college players start playing in college, or some of my young players start growing and getting older and getting into college, and I didn't even know the recruiting process, right? When parents would ask me about advice, I just wouldn't know it. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do a podcast with some of my higher level players and have them on to share their experience. And then it exploded, and I didn't expect it to become what it's become. I never planned on having coaches on. I never planned on having adults on. It was just going to be college soccer players. And then it just morphed into real conversations of just everything that's going on. And I will talk to anybody at any level. I'll talk to the U8 coach, but I'll talk to the pro coach as well. Anything to just share and have a real conversation that other people might not have in this space.
Yeah, the youth soccer is a huge part of the way American soccer is approached in this country, obviously, and it kind of informs everything else that comes beyond it. It's kind of why we're probably one of the only countries where youth soccer clubs are bigger than the professional clubs in our country. And one of the reasons you pop up on my feed an awful lot because you've interviewed coaches from Michigan, and you've had a lot of conversations of trying to inform parents of like, what the heck should we do? My kid wants to play soccer, but I'm not a millionaire. What should I do? But before we kind of get into all those kind of levels and kind of how your guidance have informed people, kind of explain the name I Hate Soccer. Where did that come from?
So again, in the supplemental training space, I'm not in charge of anybody's playing time. I'm not in charge of the position that they play. I only train them to just help them enjoy the game and get a little bit better so that when they go to their club team, they can be a bigger contributor. And in that 10 years, I've had so many conversations with parents and players about things that were going on at their club. And then it would just be like a little under my breath, be like, I hate soccer. And it's just little political things within a club. It's maybe treatment of players. Maybe it's something that happens, or going to Tennessee when you play for the Western New York Flash. Why are we having a regular season conference game 11 hours away when you can have a team maybe in your backyard and play each other? And it's just little things like that. Of course, I love soccer. I've dedicated my life to it. I've coached it my entire life. I've coached at every level, but it's just little things, and it's kind of catchy. But I get it all the time. Like, I was at MLS Next Fest in Arizona, and kids would be walking by, like, why do you hate soccer? Why are you here if you hate soccer? It's like, I don't hate soccer. It's like, do you like soccer? Yeah. Do you like losing? No. Okay. Well, you hate losing, so you hate soccer because it could be a cruel game, right? How many times have you dominated a game and then you lose 1-0 when you've outshot them 20-1?
Yeah.
Boom. I hate soccer. Just little things like that.
Yeah, I appreciate the subversive approach, right? That and it's provocative, right? It gets people talking about, okay. And then, as you said, like, that's the thing about this sport in this country in particular, although I guess in the way you just mentioned it, everybody hates the game on some level at some point. But, having been mostly focused on covering and writing about professional soccer, the thing is that you can't really get away from talking about development and youth systems and college soccer. It's all mixed up in the same pot. And I don't live in that world, right? You're doing supplemental training, you're seeing these kids, what is their path? They're trying to make choices, they're potentially spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year. I'm not knee deep in it, but it's the thing that I think sparks the most anger and a frustration in
Yes.
American soccer fans, Jason. And I guess the thing that I always come to is thinking pragmatically about this is how do we fix the incentives, right? Because that's what this is all about, right? The incentives here are there for a team in Western New York to go play a team in Tennessee because there's money on the table for the club, right? So how do we fix all of that?
How do we fix it? I think if I had that answer,
Right. Okay, this conversation because I think everybody's like, oh, well, we got to get rid of pay to play. And I'm like, okay, how? Tell me how
how?
to do that.
It's not happening. It's not happening unless we completely open up the system, have promotion and relegation at the higher levels, and maybe some money will trickle down. But that's not even going to do it. USL clubs, as it is, are barely getting by. And you think that they're going to spend a lot of their money on a youth academy? Like it's just, and if you're in the northern states, it's $800 an hour to rent a soccer field. So it's the pay to play model is never going away, ever. I even if we had the promotion and relegation and an open system and everybody got to play each other even at the youth level, I just don't see it. And it's a lie that a lot of people on X and social media just say, and I just don't know how to do it.
Well, I'm okay with saying we should get rid of it. Again, I think that's
Or
ridiculous
help.
to imagine. But yeah, but like if you want to say we shouldn't have pay to play, okay, fine. But again, like let's try to figure out around the edges how to create different incentives for everybody involved, or for at least some of the people involved. Now, and again, you can tell me like I don't know. You're in Western New York, so you're not really in a significant MLS catchment area, right? But for
Nope.
the kids that are, maybe the world's changed a little bit, but maybe not enough. And again, we talk about dot the map and professional soccer teams, and I want that to happen because I want fans to be able to go support a team that represents their town. But there's also a future, you have to dream about it, where every one of those teams has some sort of academy system or is incentivized to develop their players in their local community. And again, the way it happens around most of the world is, okay, we developed this kid. He played, 12 senior games for us. Somebody came in and
Let's
offered us $1
sell them.
million, and we sold him for $10 million. And then we can put that money back into our system. And a lot of those kids don't have to pay anymore to get proper training.
Yep. Yep. And it's solidarity payments and training compensation. And I mean, now we're just now getting to the point where those payments aren't blocked by somebody.
Yeah.
And
So would you say that I was going to say, well, if not ending the pay to play model, like what is something that is feasible that could improve the pathway? Because trying to explain how do you go from a youth player to becoming a professional player as a domestic American player is a pretty befuddling path. There isn't like one way to do it. And would you say, I guess, what is possible to change? What can we tweak about the system that makes that path clearer?
I think it has to be open at the youth level. I think that we should have one system for boys soccer in this country, and I think we should have one system on the girls side in this country, and then we could tear it out. Why can't we do something where let's say there's 1,000 youth clubs that are allowed in. There's 10 tiers, 100 teams per, and we do promotion and relegation based on club. They rank the clubs anyway. So why don't we do that? Or we could just base it off the U16 or U17 level with like the GA Cup or something like that, or the ECNL finals. Do something like that and open it up. So then we're not traveling 11 hours. But
it should
I
be
mean,
like that. Jason, it should be like that. But you know as well as I do, what happens is somebody goes,
happen.
oh, that's not fair to me, and therefore I'm going to make a big stink, or I'm taking you to court, or I'm whatever. That's where we at with all this. The attitude is my soccer is better than your soccer, and so I have to fight you at every turn.
And I'm unhappy, so I'm just going to start my own league. And then
That's
we're in the exact same mess.
What? Yes, exactly.
And we're in the same exact mess. But think about it. Okay, just in the youth landscape, we are in this mess of the ECNL versus the MLS Next, all because in 2007, US Soccer said, we don't need the development academy on the girls' side. We only need to focus on the boys' side. Our girls are the best in the world.
Yeah.
That spawned 2009 ECNL coming in and saying we can do it better than what the development academy is. And now we're in this mess, and now we're in this war, and it's an arms race on both sides. If you've seen all the teams adding in the MLS next and adding all the teams in the ECNL, ECNL just added 9 Michigan teams in their regional league, and they're just going to play each other. Now, I want to see that, but it's just it's nuts.
Yeah.
And I think that with the USL, I mean, I'm a big NFL guy. I'm a big, you know, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan at heart. Lamar Hunt, right? I'm sorry.
I'm a Broncos fan, Jason, full disclosure.
Yeah, you guys had a good year. So, so AFL, well, really, Lamar Hunt wasn't allowed to have a team in the NFL, so he started his own league, right? And then he started doing his very good job, and then the NFL came calling for a merger.
Yeah.
I hope that's where we're headed with USL and MLS someday down the line. Once the promotion and relegation happens, we'll see if that ever happens. But
Yeah.
I could dream.
You said that you kind of created your show, I Hate Soccer, for the reason kind of like to self-educate yourself. So, I mean, it probably helps you in your work as a supplemental trainer, so you can give advice, because I'm guessing your players do ask for, there's a lot of different avenues they could go, or how do I get recruited for colleges and whatnot. What has been the most enlightening discovery that you've made while doing your show?
My favorite shows so far have been one with Jordan Allen, who played a brief stint at Real Salt Lake, and he is now coaching at Real Salt Lake in their academy. And I feel like our youth players are so far removed from the professional game that they don't even know what it takes to be a pro, if that makes sense. And then I just had in a future episode, I have Steve Clark on, who was goalkeeper, played 300 games in the MLS. And I just had him on, and just the professional mindset of these professional players is so far removed from like the kids in college that I talk to. And it just an assassin mindset almost, especially from Steve. But he was a goalkeeper, so goalkeepers are a little crazy.
They're weird. Yeah. No, the thing, Jason, that you're making me think about is that other thing, that the other truism that people love to parrot in this country, which is, oh, there's 100 Messis out in America. We just don't know where they are or how to find them. Now, I'm not going to suggest that we don't have talented players that, if they were in the right environments, could become very talented players. Maybe not Lionel Messi, he's an alien, but something that's maybe not better than what we have, but we could certainly be much more efficient. And so when you think about American soccer's developmental systems as a net, the problem is there's some really big holes in that net. And again, if you're only thinking about how do we get better and win a World Cup, because I don't think that's the only motivation we should have for teaching kids soccer, but if that's your motivation, that's what fans will wonder about. Have you talked to anybody? Have you heard from anybody? Have you thought about what is it that helps American soccer get better at giving kids opportunities to actually meet their talent, right? Like, that's the thing. How do we close up those holes?
Well, it's culture, and this segment is culture wars, right? And every single time that I see a video on Twitter or whatever, and it's a little kid juggling a ball with all surfaces of their feet and all surfaces of their body, and they're on just a sidewalk, and he's like 8 years old. It's like, well, that's culture. That's what we don't have. That's what we lack. And I have always said that, like, when will we catch up? When can we compete for World Cups and whatnot? I think it's when our players are second and third generation soccer players. We're still a very young nation for the most part, a soccer nation for the most part. But there's a reason why our best players are Christian Pulisic, What did his dad do in the game? His mom was a pretty good player too.
Yep.
Way up. I mean, you just go down the list, and usually the best players are second and third generations. Where even when we do get to second and third generations, Argentina is going to be on their seventh.
Or we've got kids like Weston who went to Germany because his dad was military, and he gets in the culture in German football, which is different than what we've got here.
Exactly, and they wake up and they think about whatever their team support is. In Buffalo, New York, there's only one team that everybody cares about, and that is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Let me ask you one more thing, Jason. I wonder if you thought about this. I have this theory too, that part of our problem, it's cultural. Like this, the big overarching issue is culture. But the thing that we do in American soccer, maybe more than anybody else, is we compartmentalize. So it's not just about supporting your local team, although that's a big part of this. It's that players go from, all right, I'm at practice, I play a game, and then that's it. I go home. I'm not doing soccer otherwise, right? You mentioned the 8-year-old kid on the sidewalk. That's the thing, that connective tissue between official soccer outings is missing for us, that we make this about, like, there are pickup games happening. I get it. And there's more and more every year. And maybe we're getting to a tipping point at some level. I don't know. But that's the thing I think about a lot, is that we turn it into almost homework. Soccer is homework for these kids.
Yes, it's an obligation. Do they actually love it? And if they don't love it, it's a losing proposition for the most part anyway. So can we just get them in love with the game, and so that they want to watch everything? But I want them to watch American soccer. I want them to watch USL. I want them to watch MLS. I don't like. It's sweet that they're watching EPL. I mean, when we were growing up, we couldn't watch EPL. I don't even know if I saw a Champions League game until high school.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like the Liverpool game in Turkey against AC Milan. That was like one of the first memorable Champions League game that can ever think of. It's just culture. Can we ingrain these kids and get these kids to breathe soccer when they're not in an adult organized setting?
Yeah. Interesting to think about. And it's so many players and coaches I've heard that players never watch TV or watch games on TV under their own volition. They almost, like Jason said, had to assign, hey, watch a game over the weekend. We don't have a game on the weekend. Go watch one. And they don't even do that very often, which is kind of mind blowing, because these guys are trying to, do everything they can. They spend every afternoon in training or all that, and they couldn't tell you anything about the professional game in any way. There's just that culture of disconnect, like you mentioned. But
I had to do that. I had to do that a lot when I was younger as a coach. Assign watching the game as homework.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Yeah. And how many kids are like, after school, just like playing with their friends, kicking around in the front yard?
I'm usually in between. Oh, just kicking around? Oh, no. I've none. Well, I can't say none. There are some, but you know what? They're the best players. They're the ones that are the best, because they always have a ball at their foot.
How many kids in Buffalo are walking around with a football under their arm on the way to school or something like that? I mean, that probably happens too. But,
a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. But we got to wrap up with you here. What's the best way to take in I Hate Soccer? What's the best platform?
YouTube, I Hate Soccer podcast, and then my biggest following is on Instagram. I Hate Soccer podcast, and I upload every Monday. I'm adding shows that should be coming out Thursdays. So uploading twice a week with just interviews. So and that's about it. Are you guys going to be at the Soccer Expo? Do you guys know the We Are Soccer guys?
Yeah, I know those guys. We're all Michigan soccer content creators. Yeah. But I don't think we have any plans to do that. I might individually, if it's local again.
It's going to be in Novi. So
hey, then I might pop up there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for sharing time with us and sharing your content. It has been a great conversation. And everyone out there, be sure to check out I Hate Soccer.
Thanks for the invite, guys.